Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bouira province and also Boumerdès province. But we're going to start down here in Bouira with geography at least. Both provinces, as you can see, they border each other. They have a lot of shared history. So we'll do the history section all in one lump. But I'm going to start with geography, which is great because we're pretty much going to look through every type of landscape you can find in beautiful Algeria. But first, let's zoom out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Algeria is the largest country in Africa. Most of it, however, is made up of the Sahara Desert. But we are in northern Africa. Here you can see the Mediterranean Sea, which we'll take a look at in a minute. And up here in Algeria is this beautiful green strip of land made up of the Tel Atlas Mountains. The Tel Atlas Mountains that stretch all across this portion of northern Africa. It's so beautiful here. There is many different mountain ranges. There are many different mountain ranges throughout the Tel Atlas. The one we're going to be talking about tonight going through these provinces are the Kabylia Mountains, home of the Kabylia Amazigh culture. But starting down here in the south of the province, you can see it's starting to get very deserty and dry, isn't it? It's very typical of Saharan landscape. It's getting really close. Very dry and rocky and sandy, isn't it? But as we move up past the mountains here, it gets much greener. And we head into these beautiful mountains here, which are very forested and very lush. Surrounding the big cities here. Let me see. There it is. Like the city of Bouira here. Surrounded, you can see the Forêt de Bouira, which we'll take a look at soon. That's the forest, by the way, in French. The forests through here. Then when we head into Bouira, which let me pull it up for you here. 1 second. Bouira. Boumerdès. This province is right up here, bordering it. In the south, moving up into it, it gets even more beautiful, lush green, doesn't it? So beautiful. And then we eventually hit the Mediterranean, where we have the gorgeous Mediterranean coast, and there's the city of Boumerdès, the plage or the beach there. We'll take a look at all of it. So I absolutely love that we can talk about these provinces back to back, because it's literally like every feature of geography in Algeria. Desert, lush green mountains, and beach coast there. It's so beautiful. This is just a stunning country. It's so interesting to me. But let's talk about the history real quick before we tap around and explore these provinces. Of course, there's been people living here for a very long time. It's Africa. North Africa is one of the, over here in Morocco, the oldest Homo sapiens fossil was found in Morocco. So you can imagine humans have been living here for a very, very long time. The kind of like indigenous culture here in northern Algeria are the Amazigh. But many cultures would come about along the coast here would be the Phoenicians, who originate over in what's now Lebanon, way over here. They were sailors and traders, so they sailed all throughout the Mediterranean, establishing towns and colonies. Their most famous being Carthage over here in Tunisia, up here. Not too far away, is it? Eventually, the Romans would come, conquering the Carthaginians and establishing their own towns here, which they did in these two provinces. That would collapse after the invasion of the Vandals, which were a people's, I believe they were from Spain. What's now Spain today? The Iberian Peninsula. But they definitely came from the Iberian Peninsula. They may have been Germanic, I don't know. I actually don't know. I should look that up. But that kind of destruction there, because then the Romans came and kicked out the Vandals, but it was never quite the same. They couldn't really hold a lot of power here. It led way to invasion from the Arabs, which of course over here, the Arabian Peninsula, would come through, bringing their culture, language, and religion of Islam with them, which is all still very prominent in Algeria today. Eventually, as the various powers here would wane, the Ottomans would claim this area for their empire, which of course were based over here in what's now Istanbul. Stretching out the Ottoman Empire, but this is kind of the far reaches of the Ottoman Empire at that time, so they were mainly occupied with the coast. Algiers up here, of course the capital. And most of their attention in this area was centered in this town called Delis, which you can see why, because it has this huge jutting peninsula. There you can see the old port we'll take a look at. The old Kasbah there, which was like a Kasbah is kind of a fortification town where everything's very close together and packed together, so that if you were to attack it, it would be very easy for them to defend it. That was mostly where a lot of the heyday would have been during the Ottoman times. And of course, lots of piracy along the coast here, the Barbary pirates. In the 1830s, however, the French invaded Algeria. And there were actually quite a few battles in these provinces. In Telis, which we were just talking about, which I just lost. No, that's Bijaya up here. The French actually sailed battleships landing here. One of them sank, actually, kind of threw a screw, or threw a wrench, as we say, in the French's plan of invasion. But they certainly did invade. There was a very large battle down in what's now Bouira province, called the First Battle of the Isères, or Isère. I'm not sure if the S is silent, if it's super French or not, against the Kabylia people here. And the French would be victorious. There would be a large uprising, the Mokrani Revolt, which we talked about in the last episode here in Borj Bouira Reach. It would carry over a bit. That was successful at first until the French really came down and kicked out all of the people involved in that to New Caledonia in the Pacific. And pretty much the history of these provinces follow the history of Algeria, occupied by France for a very long time, hence all of these French names. There would be a very large movement for independence, the whole war against the French from the 1950s onward. Once Algeria did gain its independence, it was very rocky and civil war broke out throughout the 1990s. But that is all over and done with, and Algeria is now a very safe place. In 2003, I believe it was 2003, there was a very large earthquake here, 6.3 on the Richter scale and a 10 on the Mercalli scale, which if you don't know, Mercalli is kind of like the new hip way to measure earthquakes. It's kind of more accurate because it measures the destruction other than the power of the earthquake. Because, if you're not planned for earthquakes and you get hit with like a 5.0, it could be a Mercalli 12. It could flatten your entire town, even though it wasn't a very strong earthquake. So it measures the destruction more than the power of the earthquake. Whereas a place like in Japan could get hit with like an 8.5, and the destruction is like a Mercalli 2, things like that, even though it was a huge earthquake. You know what I'm trying to say. Very devastating. I think they called it the Boumerdès earthquake because it was centered here in the province, but very devastating to the region here. But that was quite a bit ago. Things are all rebuilt now today. So, with that being said, let's get into some Google Earth here. I think we should start at the beach and work our way down to the desert. I think so. We'll start up here in Boumerdès. Also, let me know if it is Boumerdès, if it's really French. I'm not positive, but Boumerdès seems to make more sense to me. It sounds more Algerian. Here is the beach, La Plage. And of course, like any beach on the Mediterranean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure the water feels very refreshing. And the sand is beautiful. A perfect sandy beach. The beautiful architecture nearby. It's all very lovely. So pretty. Can't remember if there's anything in particular I wanted to show you in town. We can look at just the town's slideshow and look around. Very big, busy, bustling city here. Look at all the seagulls. Where'd my pencil go? There we go. That's easier to point with. A little lighthouse there. A beautiful coastal town. I don't think there is such a thing as a ugly coastal town in Algeria. I think they're all gorgeous. Oh, nice big day. That must be summertime, right? Yeah, look at that old crumbling fortification there next to the lighthouse. What once was over here. Hope you can't hear the cats playing outside. But that's okay. If you hear any weird noises, it's the cats playing outside. Let's pop over to Delis. Show you all the sites I mentioned. We can look at the old port first of all. I believe that this was originally a Phoenician port that became a Roman port, that would become an Ottoman port, so on and so forth. Then eventually a French port. But I don't know, maybe it was in ruins by the time of the French, I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know, it looks pretty recent to me. Same style of lighthouse too. Big old rocks. I think if we zoom in, we can see, yeah, the old fortifications, Ancien Port. The ancient port. This would have been the old Phoenician Roman one. Not the lighthouse, I'm sure. I'm sure that's much more recent. There's the view from it too, but yeah. El Nara, I wonder if that's the name of the old fort, surely. Yeah, look at that. It sounds like Elmina in Ghana. El Nara, it's a pretty name. Let's see. Oh, the Casbah. I needed to show you the Casbah. It's so pretty. Of course, it doesn't beat the Casbah of Algiers, but Casbah it is nonetheless, with all the beautiful doors. Very characteristic of a Casbah. Windy staircases. Oh, it looks like it hasn't been rebuilt, maybe from the earthquake. Maybe from the Civil War. Beautiful views. Oh, some tools. Shovels and things. There's the lighthouse again. I think it said there was a museum over here. Yeah, musée. Let's see what's here. me some Latin right there. It's so beautiful. This is a very good picture of like a casbah. Little narrow walkway with little homes. Definitely like at least 2 stories, you know, first level, second level. Usually more. There's all those tools that we saw. Yeah, that's remarkable. Wow. So pretty. Wow, it's a lot of boats. That's a lot. Oh, that's a beautiful chandelier. Oh my goodness, that's lovely. It must be. I bet when that's lit up, it's so colorful. Now, what is this? It just looks like a little replica of some kind of building. Beautiful photos of old times. It's the Casbah there, that old photograph. But let's see, there's the modern port, of course. And the fortress. And then we'll look at some forests. Let's look at the fortress here. Wow. Up high on the hill here. It's so pretty. It's like an old castle, isn't it? There's all the boats all neatly in a row. Very beautiful. Alright, let's look at some forests here. The main one I want to show you is over here. Forêt de Bouira. Here we go. Very green. Okay, maybe not this one. It looks like it's a lot of pictures of the coast still. Oh, here we go. All lush and green. Some vineyards there by the looks of it. That's lovely. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, and grapes too, of course. Make some wine, I bet. Let me see if there's any other forest region I wanted to show you here in this province. I feel like there was. Yeah, I think over here probably. Oh, let's check out. I think that means cave, or no, gorge. Big canyon. Maybe it does mean. Oh no, grotto is cave. Grot is cave. I know, because where we're going tomorrow, we're going to France tomorrow. There's a couple of grots that are a little creepy, scary caves, but this is a gorge, like a canyon, right? Oh, the train's coming. Be careful. So lovely. Little train track there going through the forest. Very cool. Let's see. Maybe that was all I wanted to show you. We can see maybe this. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's look at these views. Wow. Oh, all snowy in the winter. Very nice. Sorry if you can hear my brother talking in the background. Ta-da, he's on top of the mountain. He's not. They got some cherries. Look at that. That's an amazing view. Some old building there. At least what was an old building. Running river. Little horse. Such a beautiful. Look at this. Gosh, if I showed you this picture and I said, can you guess where this photo was taken, what would you say? Would you say like Canada? Maybe like, I don't know, like Switzerland, maybe the Alps? No, it's in Algeria. Alright, let's head down south to Bouira province. And of course it didn't go, so then I have to try again. And then it goes right away. Alright, let's head into the city of Bouira first of all. I think I'm just going to show you the town slideshow here also. They're a very big, bustling city here. Beautiful mosque there. Look at that photograph. Oh my goodness, that is stunning. Big roundabout there. It's a big fountain, or maybe even a clock tower in the middle. I'm not sure. mountains in the background. Look at those. That's so beautiful. All that snow. Yeah, I feel like when you think Algeria, snow is not the first thing that comes to mind, is it? But here we are. Look at that. Again, if you're playing GeoGuessr and you saw this, you would probably never pick Algeria. I'd probably pick Canada or even like Chile, maybe the Andes or something. There's a big graveyard here. Google always trying to show me graveyards. Oh, do you see that big Algeria? I'm not sure what that is, but it's got a big Algeria flag on it. Wow, that one too? Yeah, this roundabout has literally a big Algeria on it. It's the shape of the country with the flag on it. That's pretty cool. Alright, and let's look at the forests here. The Forêt de Bouira. Here's where we can see some beautiful tree shots. What a beautiful cabin. Oh my goodness. I love that. All the stone. Big, soccer field. Some flowers. And beautiful green trees. I think there's another one nearby too. Let's see what this is. Nope. Let's see. Oh, I think there's some Roman ruins over here, because I feel like this slideshow. Yeah, here we go. This is the actual ruins. I don't think there's any pictures on this slideshow, but this one, which I can't read, I guess it says Ufdir, but it's written there in Kabylia. A Kabylian, I guess. Amazigh language. Such a beautiful alphabet. And look at these ruins. Remarkable. Can you believe all those columns, arches are still standing? It's definitely a Roman kind of thing, isn't it? It's so well preserved. Look at that. Let's see what else before we head down into the desert, or at least the start of the desert. Let's see. And of course, as always, I recommend that you poke around here and explore for yourself. Maybe you'll find some neat slideshows too. If you're ever bored, have nothing to do, go look at Algeria. Do yourself a favor. You will be absolutely wowed by the gorgeous landscape here. Not sure which one I should show you. I think I'll tap on a town. Takedi. Let's see this town. Isn't that lovely? This looks like California, where I used to live. All the rolling green hills there. Beautiful rainbow over the town. Yeah, we start to head into the desert here. It gets a little drier. Reminds me a lot of California, actually. Uh-oh, lots of desert there. But tons of snow, too. Look at all that. That's so lovely. Algeria is a special place. This whole area of Africa, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, is just something else entirely. It's so beautiful. Alright, let's go into the desert. Let's see what we can find here. Is this anything? No, unfortunately. I think if I just show you a town, I feel like I'd picked one out for you guys, but I can't remember what it is. Let's try this one. Let's see if we can see any landscape. Oh, we certainly can. Look at these cool rocks. That's so beautiful. Big rocky hills in the distance. Wow. It's getting pretty barren. So behind this guy here, it's a pretty little mosque. All those beautiful domes. You're right on the edge there. Let's head down to here's the end there. Here's a town. It has no pictures. Let's look at this mosque. Do you think this mosque? The mosque does not have pictures. Let's look at this town. Zerga. What a great name. I think I'll just end the video here, to be honest. So I feel like I'm just going to be hunting for slideshows and things. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. Because like I said, tomorrow we're going to France. So I have UNESCO sites to show you, a cool long history, lots of places to visit on Google Earth. And if you can hear my brother talking in the background, I think he's playing video games with someone. He actually lived in this region of France for 6 months, and I'll tell you the funny story on how that happened. So yeah, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Not to mention, the week after that, we're hitting up Colombia, Portugal, Germany. There's a lot, and lots of capital cities coming up the week after that. So like, if you haven't subscribed, now's the time, because we're about to go to some really exciting places coming up. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and drop me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I know I have a lot of Algerian viewers. How did I do? If you feel like I left anything out that's like super important, go ahead and drop it in the comments, please. I'd appreciate that. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night.